Hey, amazing people. Welcome to I Am Beloved podcast. My name is Bernice Rivera, founder of I Am Beloved, and I am so excited that you've decided to take this journey with me as we navigate to bring healing to the brokenhearted through Christ-centered conversations and biblical truths. Stay tuned because we have an amazing episode up next. Welcome, family, to I Am Beloved podcast, and I am so excited and honored because today we are going to be talking about the life of a pastor's kid, and I have the one and only, my friend, a woman of God here with me today to share her story and just to talk about this topic that is not talked about enough, and people don't talk about the good and the bad and the ugly of being a pastor's kid. Amen. So I have with me today Pastor Yeidalys Anaya. Welcome. Woohoo! Yay. I'm so excited. Wow. I'm so blessed and honored to have you here. And I don't think that she knows this, or maybe she does, but doesn't remember. But you ministered to my life I would say maybe a year ago when I was going through a very difficult season where I was just, falling into depression and kind of questioning my calling and the assignment that God had over my life, right? I was in a very difficult place and you prayed for me and you spoke such a specific and on-time word that blessed my life. So thank you. I'm honored to have you here with me.
God is so good. Excuse my yesterday was Sunday and service was crazy voice.
Yes.
But God is so good, and I don't remember, but glory to God, He's such an on-time God.
Yes, He is.
And
yes, He
I'm
is.
excited to be here, and I'm excited. I'm ready.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. So for those of you who know, I grew up as a pastor's kid, and, I'm sure that, we both have many stories to tell and many things to tell that, like I said, it's a blessing, but it's also something that's very hard that a lot of people don't talk about, right? And, one of those taboo topics where it's we don't talk about that. We don't talk about certain things. And I think it's so important for people that are coming up in ministry nowadays and that are pastors, that are ministers, that are evangelists, that are leaders in whatever capacity in their church to understand that, yes, when you say yes to God and you accept the assignment over your life, it's not only entails you, but it entails your family, your husband, your wife, your kids, right? Your nuclear in your household. So, yeah.
It's which is crazy. That is a taboo subject. And not only is it taboo, but there's a thought where people think that it's peaches and cream. If pastors' kids are the best that live, the best that experience, their lenses are amazing, their life, what they experience, what they live, who they meet. If we have Walt Disney World lives. So good. It's always funny that it's a taboo subject, but referenced as if we are class 1 of the church society.
Or we're living the dream, we're living the dream that people don't know about.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So to start off with, I just want you to tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is Yeidalys, right? What was your life growing up, and what has shaped you into the woman you are today?
I am a single, not an only child, but an only daughter, surrounded by five guys.
Wow.
So I have 5 brothers. I am not the princess of the house.
No.
The one who claims the throne of the favorite is the youngest one. So being the only girl didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But being surrounded by boys, obviously my upbringing, you can kind of see how it's already starting to be a little bit rough. So I was one of those girls that was always with the guys.
Yeah.
Not with the girls, because I grew up with guys.
Yeah.
Era hasta cierto punto machua. Then you switch over y como que entramos en esa rebeldía única en middle school, en donde our clothes are getting a little bit more tighter, a little bit more exotic. Entonces, my upbringing was always in church, but never church. Entonces, I was that girl that was known as, she goes to church.
Okay.
Pero era tremendita. Entonces,
Was it like living two lives, like in and out of church?
I was that stereotype girl.
Yeah.
Que el domingo estaba en la iglesia y el lunes yo estaba corriendo, vamos a caerle encima a este, vamos a insultar, ¿sabes? Entonces, my upbringing was a little bit wild. But it's definitely formed who I am today.
Yeah.
Entonces, de niña pasé cosas, ¿verdad? My mom wasn't yet in full-time ministry. However, we were in church. Entonces, pasé diferentes cosas como violación, violencia doméstica, where that shaped me to who I am today. Pero ya esos son otros temas. Pero definitely my upbringing has made me who I am. Por eso soy persona con carácter fuerte, pero ahora el ministerio que tengo también ha vuelto a formar mi carácter. Entonces, todo esto va a la par de lo que vamos a hablar hoy.
Y yo creo que es tan bello porque yo digo, cada experiencia que nosotros pasamos a través de nuestras vidas, right? Everything we go through, everything we navigate through, the ugly and the bad things, and just everything shapes us into who God has called us to be, right?
Literally.
And to be able to impact people through that testimony and that life of, you know, the things and experiences we've gone through, right? So it's wild. It's just great. God is so good. So how old were you when your parents finally walked into full-time ministry and your mom walked into full-time ministry as a pastor, or just, you know?
I was 13. I was 13. We went so we had just left a church, and my mom had just gotten out of domestic violence, maltrato cruel, from an evangelist of the house.
Wow.
So the same guy who was beating up on my mom at home, the reason why my family had to divide, my brothers had to go up north, the same one that we went through rape and everything in the house, with an evangelist of the house, and the pastor knew. However, the pastor was best friends with the guy.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about it. Oh my God, yes.
And so that's like a whole nother like novela. Entonces, a lot of people were scared of this man. So my mom, it leaves the church because the church puts me as a liar. Yeah. And they find out through the pastor's son, because I told the pastor's son what I was going through, because I was my best friend at the moment. Yeah. And so he goes to his dad and says, hey, this is going, she told me this. Yeah. So through that whole mess, my mom leaves the church. Y ella se apartó for like a few months. And so she meets my dad. And my dad kind of like brings her back to home, like, hey, this isn't you. Yeah. So they start dating, they get together, whatnot. You know, when the church, two members get together, la gente se vuelve loca, and you know, because it's not who you were with. Yeah. And that's an issue in the church. Yeah, when like people separate or divorce and then God, you know, brings them somebody new in their life. They don't accept it. No, pero ¿qué es eso? Yeah, like it's not your job to accept it. It's not your job to say what. No. Stay in your lane. Yeah. Entonces pasó ese revolú. And mira, we went from not going to church. Yeah. I was in middle school. I was in 8th grade, living my best life, or 7th grade. And we weren't going to church. Yeah. Entonces I was getting all the stuff, all the piercings, wearing my crop tops, everything. Tú estabas, esta es la que hay. I was libertad por fin. Soy libre. And because at first it was hard. I stayed in church. My mom left, but I stayed. Yeah. Entonces then I left. My mom stayed while your mom left, but you were seeing everybody talking and whispering and gossiping about you and your family. I had the pastors. They sat me down. Listen, we got to do a pastoral chronicles and talk about all these things. Yeah. The pastor sat me down at a meeting. I was 12 at that time. Just you by yourself? With the entire leadership. You by yourself and the entire leadership? Oh, without a guardian. Entonces, because of that, a lot of people left. A lot of the leaders left because it wasn't appropriate. And they called me by myself because I went to an event to go see Jose Font when he had just came out. Yeah. And I took a teenager with me. Her mom said, her mom wasn't even part of the church. Yeah. But because I took her with me and I didn't ask permission to the pastors, me sentaron. Oh my God. And they were like, no, you got to get disciplina because you didn't ask. I was 12. Oh 12. My God. So my mom was like, no. You know, you got to leave. They're calling you. They denied all the claims, everything that I went through, that I was raped, and they said that I was bisexual, that I was lesbian. No, levantaron calumnia against a 12-year-old. Oh my God. But I know it wasn't because of me. It was because of what my mom carried, what my dad carried. Yeah. And it hurt that the leadership was that was a whole mess. Anyways. Yeah. So one day estoy en apogeo, en libertad completa, and my mom's like, hey, yeah, so we're going to go to church on Sunday. You're going to come with me because you're the only girl and you can't stay home anymore and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, from freedom to go back to church.
Yeah.
Entonces, they started going back to church, pero they were visiting like 3-4 churches a day. Like, the same churches, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
To try to find which one was their
They started building connections, and
yeah.
And I was like, we went from no churches to 3-4 churches. Entonces, that's where I start meeting all these people, all my friends now.
Yeah.
And fast forward, like a few months later, they're like, we're opening a church. I was 13.
Your parents told you that?
And I was like, yo.
You're
so
like,
it was
what?
a drastic change.
Yeah.
It was a drastic change.
Yeah.
But it was crazy because everywhere we went to, they received a word. And so the church that
no podían escapar del llamado. Like,
the church that we were at,
yeah,
no one was allowed. Like, you didn't see word given out like that. Entonces, I go into this new season. I'm like, you guys shouldn't open up a church.
Yeah.
But I see people that don't know them calling them up like, pastores serán pastores, padre de multitud. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it was a drastic change.
Yeah. Do you think that in that moment of your life, like, you could understand the capacity and the weight of the calling that was coming for their lives and for y'all's life as a family?
No. My family was hurt with what happened in the other church, that man, how he marked us.
Yeah.
And understanding, I'm like, you went from not being in a church to now you want to go to church to now we're opening up a church.
Yeah.
Yo tenía coraje. I had rage. I didn't understand.
Yeah.
But I was dressing up cute, so that was the only thing that was holding me on. Mind you, I was 13. I was ignorant. So I was like, as long as I can wear heels, whatever. But Sundays were long, were early. It was rough.
And because you never really had a chance to kind of process everything before God's like, okay, we got to move. This is transition. This is the time. Like, you didn't get a time to process the hurt and the pain.
But I didn't know who he was. I was a leader in the previous church of the dance ministry for the babies.
Yeah.
I was involved in everything.
Yeah.
But I didn't know God.
Yeah.
That's why it was so easy for me to leave.
Yeah.
That's why when my mom goes, we'll open up a church, I'm like, what? Like, that makes no sense. And so it was challenging, and me puse más rebelde.
Yeah. And I think, something that I've learned, right, growing up in the church as well, and I'm sure that you can relate to, is like, conocemos de Dios como un juez, como un dictador, como, somebody who's just there that we have to follow these rules and we have to fit in this little box. And we know of him, but we don't know who he is. We don't have that encounter with him, right? And then it's until later when we start seeing God as a loving father, as our father, right? So when was that moment for you? Like, when did you finally have that encounter with God?
I was 21.
Growing up in the church, guys, mind you, and I have a very similar story.
Danced.
So it's wild.
I went to Mexico.
Yeah.
Mira, yo profeticé. Dios me usaba en profecía. And where I was 14, and there was a family that one time I ministered to them, and in the moment, the sensation was like words were put in my mouth. And I was like, the Lord's going to give you house keys. I see it. It's been difficult. And I was 14. I didn't know what, I didn't know.
You're like, I have no idea what's
renting
happening
was.
right
I didn't know what owning a house was. And that same service in the afternoon, like, literally, I think they were about to close. They received a call from the realtor, like, you guys just got approved. I don't know what happened. And so the Lord was using me.
Wow. And so, you still didn't know him.
Let's talk about, like, the lo que es la inocencia. Entonces,
yeah.
As I grew up, we fall into stages. We fall into the religious stage. We can't wear makeup, only skirts. Bendito sea. Bendito sea.
Gracias, Señor.
So, I got married to a man, cutest Mexican in the world. And so he comes from a church that broke out of that religious stage. Over here we call them rajatablas. In Mexico they're called apostolico.
Oh, okay.
So when I bring him over, well, he
Yeah.
comes and he follows me. I didn't bring nobody over. He followed me. And so he comes. Él se encuentra. And we started bumping heads because he's like, oh, when you guys go to Mexico, you guys are free. But here, you guys are wearing skirts. You don't wear pants. And so he proposes. And our first year was rough because we start having these culture clashes.
Yeah.
But then we start having these religious clashes.
Yeah.
And so I started losing myself because I didn't want kids fast. I never wanted kids to begin with.
Really?
Never. I was a girl that would say, I'll watch people's kids, but I don't want kids. I don't want birth. I don't want pain.
Yeah.
And so 3 months after we get married, I find out I'm 1 month pregnant.
Oh my God.
Mira, que si pegó el chicle.
Chacho,
I came home one day, my mom's like, hey, your nose is swollen.
Yeah, they can tell right away. Come on. Shout out to the moms.
Your nose is swollen and shiny. And I went to the bathroom.
Hispanic moms. Shout out to the Hispanic moms.
And so I went to the emergency room. I don't know if anybody else has done this. And I'm like, oh, my stomach hurts.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want no false positive. Entonces I find out I'm pregnant. I come home. My mom's like, sabía yo. Entonces the religious aspect is so rough that we were recently married. Our church was so religious that people started calculating the birth of my son.
What?
To see if we were in fornication. And so I didn't like the church.
That's tough.
I didn't want to be there. My pregnancy made it worse. I questioned who God is. Grew up in ministry.
Yeah.
I ministered. I didn't encounter him. Bernice, when I was young, around 18,
Yeah.
I had that hunger, that teenage hunger, where I would lock myself up in church. And I would pray. But I had not had an encounter with God. It's not the same.
Yeah.
I would bring teenagers with me.
Yeah.
I had lock-ins where Chris would come. He would come and minister.
That's
lock-ins
crazy.
where my lock-in, my first lock-in ever was 30. Then it went up to 45.
Yeah.
Then it went up to 83.
Come on.
And I didn't have an encounter with God.
Wow.
But there was kids experiencing the Lord in these lock-ins.
Yeah.
So here I am, 21.
Yeah.
20. Because I turned 21 and then I had my son. But I was 20 while I was pregnant and I had anger. These religious people around it made it worse. And so there was this one man who would be like, oh, the Lord can't speak to a woman who's pregnant because her emotions are everywhere.
Come on. Yo digo los disparates que se escucha que la iglesia, Señor, ayúdanos.
And
que
so
nos coja confesado.
I had a dream that it was a boy. I didn't want a girl because what I had lived as younger.
Yeah.
It was a whole nother scare. And so I had a dream it was a boy. And I went and I told my husband, I'm like, we're going to go find out what it is before this gender reveal. Thank the Lord it was a boy. Because I saw it in a dream.
Yeah.
Entonces I said that and the guy was like, no, Dios me lo reveló, it's a girl, porque Dios no te puede hablar a ti because you're pregnant. Okay, cool.
Pero todo este tiempo todavía no habías tenido un encuentro
All
así
of
como
this
con Dios.
is giving me more anger, more rage. And I'm like, this is more reason why I question if God is real. God had used me. Pero yo tenía coraje.
Yeah.
I had questions. There's no way God can be real. There's no way that what I'm seeing right now in the religious aspect, this cannot be church.
So you were still being used by God, but just still questioning and doubting if he's real. ¿Dónde está la justicia de Dios si él es real?
And so my pregnancy came, I got cold in church. I just started going, it became a routine. I had hyperemesis, so I lost a lot of weight in the beginning. Then I started gaining weight at the end. And church became a routine. I would go, I gave birth. When I give birth, everything is good. My son is premature. But they sent us home. On his 2-day checkup, his temperatures dropped to super low. Estaba amarillo el nene.
Wow.
Entonces, they were like, "Oh, you have to go to the hospital." And I told the pediatrician, "No, I'm not." She said, "Either you go to the hospital or te llamo a la policía." And I said, "Well, call the police. I'm not going." So my husband and my mother-in-law had to
But
convince
why did
me
you
to
want to go?
Mira, I was like, no. Because my family had a generational curse where my mom and my aunts lost their first child.
Oh my God. So you were battling with all those fears.
So yo tengo coraje, and I'm like, the spiritual aspect isn't real. This is all emotions. Me lo metí en la cabeza because of the anger that I had with the church.
Yeah.
I put in my mind, this is not real. And so as soon as she says, like, your son can die, I'm like, no. This is not happening. This is not happening.
Yeah.
So it triggered, like, in my mind, these generational curses coming after you. My grandma, my mom, my aunt.
Yeah.
And so I go to the hospital. His temperature is back to normal. All the tests came back fine, except one. There's something wrong with his blood. We don't know why they told you his temperature is wrong. We don't know why you're here, but thank God you're here because there's something wrong with his blood. So I start seeing that God did something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were like, you have to stay. Okay, what's with his blood? We can't tell you.
So you saw God like working in that moment.
I'm seeing, like, you know, because everything's like, you know, but thank God. And so when doctors say, but thank God, you know, some higher power, because, you know, those nurses.
Yeah.
And so when I'm in the room, the doctor comes in. They're like, oh yeah, your son has E. coli in his bloodstream.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Oh well, at that time it was like 1 in 100,000. Or one in, I don't know. It was a big number.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they asked, what we wanted to do, and I said, you're not giving me options. What do you mean? What do you want to do? Basically, it came down to 10 doctors were in a room, and since my son was premature, they didn't see that he could be E. coli and be able to withstand the procedures.
Yeah.
So 9 doctors were asking us, they were going to give us a paper to see if we can donate his body, you know, after whatever happens, to science.
Like they were preparing themselves for the worst.
Mira, I sat in that chair, and my best friend at the time, she, like, would, like, talk to the doctors because I couldn't.
Yeah.
I was blacked out. My husband was working, was not a job, él no estaba ahí. And this one doctor came in. He's like, at the 10, I was the one that said no. Because I'm a man of faith, and I believe that the Lord has a final say.
Wow.
And so...
And that was coming from the doctor. he had more faith than you at that moment.
I looked at him. I didn't say nothing. When I tell you I was emotionless, I was gone.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. It was all my best friend. And so he told me that his team se iba a encargar. And so he's like, this is what we're going to do. This is the medication. Read the medication. I can't tell you why, so I can't disclose what hospital it was.
Yeah, yeah.
But make sure that you read the 2 of the medications. Mm-hmm. I know what I'm telling you. If it doesn't come from me or from my nurses, don't do it.
Yeah.
You're going to be here 16 days. My son was getting administered medicine, and that same day my mom came in. Mira, I was a wreck. I was crying. I was like, he's going to die. He's going to die.
And at this point, your parents were in ministry.
They were in ministry already.
And they were pastoring a church.
Already pastoring a church.
But you weren't a part of their church.
I was a part of the church.
You were, okay.
But I was just there.
Okay.
I was just there. It was routine. This is just part of my life.
Yeah.
Because it comes to a point where church becomes routine, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm used to it. If I'm not there, como que me siento perdida.
Yeah.
But I was just there. And so my mom... I didn't want nobody to visit me. I didn't want nobody from the church visiting me. I didn't want no emotionalists talking about, así te dice el Señor. I didn't want that.
Yeah.
I hated that phrase, así te dice el Señor. Lo odiaba escuchar eso.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't let nobody in the room.
Yeah.
Except the assistant pastors and my parents. My parents kicked everybody out the room. My mom, my mom is scary. You met my mom, right?
Yes, I love her. She's awesome.
She got in my face. She was like, I'm going to tell you one thing in Spanish. Te voy a decir una cosa. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you're going through. But the only one that can understand what's going on is the woman in you, the spiritual woman in you. Mm. This is generational. I lost my first. I lost my first.
Yeah.
Your aunt lost her first. My grandma lost. Do you understand? It's a generational curse.
Yeah.
Deja y levántate and realize that this is generational. This is spiritual.
Oh my gosh.
You can cry all you want to cry. I can't do nothing about it. He has a mom, and that's you. You have to fight this.
Wow.
Saca coraje y babilla de donde no la tiene. Saca fuerza de lo que no la tiene.
Yeah.
Arregla cuenta con Dios como tú. Pero you need to do something about this.
Yeah.
So go home, go get clothes, go shower, and come back correct.
Wow.
I got in the car.
Eso I got chills, girl.
Mira, crying, cuestionándole a Dios. Because, mind you, I told you that when we were going to have our gender reveal, I saw that it was a boy. Entonces, when I'm in the car, we start singing that song that just came out at that time. I raise a hallelujah in the presence of my enemies.
Yeah.
So we were blasting it on our way home, and we were crying. And I was like, I'm going to sing this song. It's going to be, I'm going to sing in the middle of the storm, louder and louder. Yeah. I'm going to hear my praises roar. In the car, I have a vision of my son at 5 years old playing soccer.
Wow.
And I start talking in tongues in the car. And I start crying. There was like a cloud came in the car.
Yeah.
My husband starts talking in tongues. Mira, I started crying, and I was like, no. Mira, me bañé, agarré la Biblia, all my stuff when I was younger. When I didn't have an encounter. And I heard the Lord speak to me. And I was like, this is it. This, my son will live. I saw my son.
Yeah.
Es como que we need that person que nos empuje, to push us.
Yeah.
To remind us, like, you can be a crybaby up to a certain point, but you need to wake up. Like, that you have a calling.
Yeah.
There's warfare that you can do, and only you can do. The man can't do it. The woman edifies the house.
Yeah.
The woman, I've always seen, and even now, that the condition of the woman will determine the stance of the man.
Ooh. And their households.
The word says that only God can edify the house, and vain are the ones that edify. But then the Lord says that the woman is given the authority to edify the house. Yeah. And so there's something that only the Lord and the women can do.
Yeah. They got to connect and go to war for their household.
That's why I believe that, and I'm not saying that there's no... that men can intercede or pray for the house. But there's something when those women of the church come together and they go and they pray for the edification of the church.
Yeah.
Because there's something that the woman can do and God can do. And so in that moment, I had my mother who spoke to me as a pastor and said, wake up, you need to
go to war for your household.
Go to war for your household, for your husband, for your child. You know, I was 21. I understand you're a young adult, but you need to wake up.
Yeah.
Es como que si me inyectaron como que
te trajo a la
como
vida.
Si la fe, la fuerza, like someone really said, will these dry bones come to life? Only you can tell me. That's what she told me.
Yeah.
Will these dry bones come?
Will your son live? Only you can tell me.
And so I went home.
Yeah.
I changed, I showered. So on my way there, I had a vision. I saw my son playing soccer, and he was like 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
And I told my husband, I saw him. Y mi esposo empezó a llorar. On my way back to the hospital, after taking a shower and getting our stuff, I let out an intercessory war cry that I've never let out before. I spoke to the atmosphere. I spoke to principalities.
Yeah.
I spoke to whatever's in the hospital. I spoke to whatever's generational. Mira todo. I pled the blood.
Yeah.
I broke any agreement. Yo me paré en la brecha como nunca lo había hecho. Like if my life depended on it. Más fuerte, like if my son's life depended on it.
Yeah. Wow.
From there, I was just, le canteaba, I would pray, I was reading the word. A shift. The Lord encountered me every day in that hospital.
And that was when you finally were like, I encountered, like, de oídas te había oído, más ahora mis ojos te ven.
And that was an anthem that I would sing. De oídas te había oído, más ahora mis ojos te ven. Because I'm a pastoral kid. Yeah. I saw the miracles. I saw the signs. I saw the wonders. Yeah. I was in Mexico. My mom prayed for a woman who got run over 3 times by a car. No podía caminar. I was 14. I saw her in a church of 1,500 members. I saw her get up. Yeah. I saw her walk. I saw that. I saw her. I saw all these things. I saw the prophecy. I heard it.
Signs and wonders.
For everybody else, but not for me. Yeah. So I'm like, there can't be a God if the God is not even for me.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do it for me.
Wow. Wow.
And so I always thought I was forgotten.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, that hospital, that became my secret place. Because my husband wasn't there.
Yeah.
My best friend had her family. So I wasn't always with somebody. My mom visited me once. And it was that day. She didn't come back again.
She came on time in that moment.
It was literally my secret place.
Yeah.
3 days after I had the vision, the doctor comes in. He said, I told you I serve a living God, right?
No, he didn't.
I said, what happened? He said, from 16 days, you go home tomorrow. He's fine. His blood is clear.
Wow.
I'm like, what? Because he didn't give me vitals, he didn't give me nothing. When I tell you I was in quiet and he told me to trust him, I was in quiet.
Yeah.
I said, don't kill my son. He said, no. We serve the same God.
Wow.
He said, you're going home tomorrow. Your son gained weight.
Jesus.
His blood is clear.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what happened to the E. coli because I don't know. Because even no, ese hombre ahí me abrazó. I cried. I left out of hallelujah. The nurses prayed with me. No,
Yeah.
It became literally a secret place.
Yeah.
And I came home and I was different.
From
My mom was like,
on.
take a month, stay home. Mira, 2 weeks, I was back in church. I was worshiping like never before.
Yeah. And
was
you were on
different.
fire for God.
It was different.
For real this time. Yeah. And I think that it's crazy, that you mentioned that, because there's so many moments in, pastors and leaders' lives where they're preaching to people, they're praying over people, they're seeing God's miracles, but they're like, God, where's my miracle? Like, God, I serve you and I'm doing these things for you, and sometimes it becomes such a routine, but it's like, God, like, ¿dónde tú estás cuando yo te necesito?
Like my son.
And then that's where, boom.
My healing. My heart. It's hard
Yeah.
ministering to marriages, but my marriage is broken. Ministering to youth, my son's not in church. Like, pastors go through things that I wish people could really take a second and step in their shoes.
Yep.
Their kids to see it firsthand.
Yeah.
Because the pastors experience it, however, they're pastors. Most of them know the word.
Yeah.
But most of these teenagers don't. Most of these kids don't. But they see it. And they wonder, why is the church like this? Where's God for my family? And so I got to see it firsthand.
Yeah.
After seeing it secondhand, I got to see it firsthand.
Yeah, and talking about that, like, and talking about your story is just so powerful. Like, it's so powerful. I never knew that. I never knew your story.
Not a lot of people know this.
I didn't know. Like, girl, you need to write a book. Literally, you need to write a book. But, after seeing God move in this way, and, your background, everything that you went through growing up, right? Like, being hurt by the church, having to battle religious mindsets, right? Being, abused as a child, all of these different things. And then finally walking into ministry with your family, right? And your parents, right? And seeing them every day, Sunday after Sunday. Like, what would you say is one of the biggest lessons you've learned growing up as a pastor's kid?
Church hurt is real. Church hurt is very real.
Yeah. And people don't want to talk about
Church
it.
hurt is real. People don't want to talk about it, but it's real.
You can't make the church look bad like that. Come on, y'all. We got to talk about this
real.
stuff.
And only God. Like, I there's no remedy. There's no internal healing seminar. There's no liberation class. Church hurt is real.
Yeah.
And only God can heal church hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can go and leave one church and go to another church, but that church hurt remains there. Your guard is up, and you start looking for signals and for repetitive
red flags,
behaviors, the red flags.
Yeah.
Because church hurt is real. It's raw. It's something that the church is being affected by today. And so now, most people are leaving Hispanic churches, and where are they going? To the American churches.
Yeah.
Because in American churches, you don't see church hurt. In American churches, they're not wondering who you're with, what you're doing. I can go out and go to a concert, and then I can go to church on Sunday, and I'm not being judged.
Do you think it's because they're so large that nobody knows who you are?
That's what we look for. We look to not be seen. To go to church so I don't feel guilty because I have fear of God.
Yeah.
And I want the Lord to know that I'm trying. But go to a church that's big enough where I don't have accountability.
And nobody knows who I am. Whew, sheesh.
I know so many people right now that are fighting, losing themselves.
Yeah.
In big churches right now.
Yeah.
Because they can't find a church where they can feel like I have touch with the pastors.
Yeah.
I feel that connection. And so my pastors have always been different. Like my parents, I'm sorry. And so
your pastors. Yeah.
They are my pastors.
Parents and pastors.
They molded me, and my parents are different.
Yeah.
They're that when they speak to me as a pastor, they're gonna speak to me as a pastor. When they speak to me as a parent, they speak to me as a parent, and we respect it.
Yeah.
And so people have always seen them as parents, and for me, it was harder because I would get jealous. Because people would call them like these are my spiritual parents, and they would
Mom
bring
or
gifts
dad.
for them and bring food for them.
Yeah. Dang.
Let's take you guys out. Can you leave your kids?
No way. Did they really actually say that?
Literally. After church, there was a season that it was meetings. No, I need a meeting with my pastors on Sunday after church. So we'd be there at 9 in the morning, but we'd leave at like 5 in the afternoon because you just needed an hour-long meeting.
Wow.
But then we didn't have, we were just everywhere back then. We didn't have the knowledge that we have now. And so growing up, it was hard. But seeing them loved, it was different. And so there was things, and I think the hardest thing was being exposed. I was being exposed in so many areas. I was being poked at and exposed. And that was hard.
By people within the own body.
Within the church. Within the body. And so seeing them and how they were and what they've done has helped me to know what not to do now.
That's so good that you say that. That's so good that you say that. What's one of those things that you can right away come to your mind that you're like, I've learned that I don't want to follow this pattern as a minister and as a pastor?
Familiarity.
Woo, Jesus. Y'all don't know how. Come on, talk about it. Preach it again, sister. Say it again.
Familiarity kills.
Yeah.
Familiarity is the root of so many issues. Gossip, familiarity. Rumors, familiarity. If you come to my house, people know you come to my house, don't talk to me about nothing. I don't want to hear about nobody, about the church. I put boundaries. Why? Because my kids are there. They can listen. They're 5 and they're 6 years old.
Yeah.
They listen. They hear. Yeah. Don't bring nothing that's going to bring consequences to my life. No. Talk to me about the Bible. Talk to me about the Word, but don't talk to me about nobody. Familiarity. That if we're not together, one day I don't want to, go out with you, and you think, oh, she doesn't. What is she here? Or does she have an issue with me?
Yeah.
Or what's wrong? Familiarity opens doors. They open up familiaridad. Even like hallucinations, where people start hallucinating that you said things that you never said.
What?
That you think things that you never thought. Familiarity brings people to come in and get close to you. They see your weakness and they forget your mantle now.
Yeah.
They forget your title. They start disrespecting you because they're like, oh, they're human like me. Yeah. And so you can't tell me what to do. They lose the line.
Yeah, they blur the line between, okay, I'm talking to you as maybe a sister in Christ or a friend versus I am your pastor and I am here to guide you because yo, como dice en español, yo le tengo que rendir cuentas a Dios por tu vida, right? As a pastor.
And they don't see that. They see it as I'm close to you. We're friends now. We're cool.
Yeah.
I don't
need to applaud everything I do.
I don't need to do everything like everybody else. I don't need to chase you down. I don't need to follow the same protocols because we're cool now. Oh, come on, let's go out to eat. No, today with my family. Oh, but why? Did I do something wrong? And so you start feeling like you have an emotional tie to somebody because you don't know how to say no because you know that they're not mature enough to understand a no.
Yeah.
And so familiarity starts exposing the maturity level of somebody. And so if you don't set these boundaries from the beginning, I'd rather people think, oh,
you better write that down.
She has a strong character, or oh no, she don't play with her. I'd rather people say that about me than for people to be like, oh, I see an entryway.
Yeah.
Or no, we're cool. We can be cool.
Yeah.
But there's lines.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to speak to you. I have a friend that I'm super close with. Walter Edward Dwyer IV. Oh my gosh, she's gonna get mad that I said his full government name. But I can speak to him as a friend. But I can speak to him as a pastor.
Yeah.
Literally within the same conversation.
That's so important.
And he won't cross the lines. not everybody's mature enough to do that with you, and you have to know who you can be transparent with. Not everyone deserves your transparency, and people in ministry don't understand that. Familiarity kills churches. I can be upset with Bernice today, and I'm like, girl, well, let me tell you, Bernice last week was telling me this, and that. Because I was upset with you, because maturity doesn't understand. Maturity is not understanding that you're human and you have your weaknesses. But that the Lord, even through your weaknesses, has called you for a divine calling, for a divine title, for a divine assignment. You don't believe in titles or calling? Okay, but an assignment.
Y'all better be receiving this word right now.
Use your weakness, right? To counteract and to dismiss your assignment. And so familiarity exposes the maturity of who can see your assignment through your weakness. That's why not everybody deserves to see your transparency. And so familiarity is something that no, don't bring that around me. Don't bring that around in my leaders. No, I don't play with that. Chisme, gossip, whatever. From the root, familiarity brings all of that, and I kill that on the spot.
Yeah, and it's so important what you say, because I think that, you know, as Christians and as leaders, right, as pastors, if you don't have somebody to mentor you and guide you, it's going to be very easy for you to blur those lines with your congregation and with people, you know, in the body of Christ, right? And I think that it's just so important. And, you know, many times we confuse holding people accountable with like, oh no, like I don't want conflict, like, oh, turn the other cheek, you know, all these Christian things that you hear growing up, especially for me in the Spanish churches, where it's like, oh no, you know, tienes que perdonar 70 veces 7. And I'm like, yeah, you gotta forgive people, but as leaders you have to hold people accountable, because if not, their behavior is gonna continue, you know, or oh no, you know, just turn the other cheek or whatever it is. And it's like, but especially if we're pastors, if we're leaders, we have to hold people accountable, because how are they going to grow and mature into who God has called them to be? And all you see nowadays is such a spirit of offense within the churches for everything, because, oh, you know, that familiarity, because of that familiarity, like, oh no, well, you know, you saw these pastors saw my kids growing up, like how dare they try to tell me that I'm living my life wrong? Oh, because the Bible says it, you know? So it's so important that I think that as pastors, as leaders, we understand that the Bible talks about how to deal with conflict and hard conversations in the church. It's not even about conflict. It's about having hard conversations, like holding people accountable, right? Talking to them one-on-one, you know, and if you still don't agree, bringing a third person, a third witness to be able to mend that conversation, to mend those things. But like, hard conversations are a part of edifying the church, and accountability is a part of edifying the church. And we have to understand that familiarity is killing the church.
And that's the issue, because pastors get close to leaders, and then leaders say no accountability. But these are the leaders that are pouring into your church.
Yeah.
Jesus flipped tables. We flipped tables here.
Listen, he did. Jesus, people don't forget.
Sometimes you gotta flip a table. Sometimes you gotta flip a table.
Listen.
So people know.
If y'all see me next Sunday flipping tables and chairs, blame Pastor
Sometimes you gotta
Yeidalys.
flip a table. Let them know. The church ain't something to play with.
Oh my gosh. So finally, you know, what advice could you give to pastors, ministers, right? We say we include ministers because they're men and women of God, and evangelists, all of these things. Like, what advice would you give to pastors and leaders who are raising children in the church and, you know, confronting these challenges that we discussed and talked about?
The advice that I would give is take some time. There's so many pastors that don't take vacation. There's so many pastors that...
Talk about it, sis. Talk about it.
They don't take time. You know, sometimes you need to go out to eat, just you and your kids and your spouse.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a vacation. You need a cruise for a weekend. Even if it's just Washington, D.C. for a weekend.
Rest is holy.
You cannot operate a church when you don't have your body physically eventually will affect the spiritual area. And I don't play with balance. I tell everyone in my church, mental health above everything.
Yeah.
Mira, I see a leader that's like giving out like, wigging out symptoms, and I'm like, hey, mental health above everything. Ay, pastora, I don't want to fail you. You're not failing me. You're failing God.
Yeah, and your family.
I don't care if the position stays open. We're going to function with or without you. We're going to function.
Yeah.
I care about your salvation. And so a lot of people don't have balance.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have balance.
Yeah.
Our church has transitioned so much this year because balance is everything. You sit down in my church and you're going to see the agenda team is funny. We have a way we function in our calendar because everybody needs balance. You may not be at church. You may only go twice a week, but I got people that can go 6-7 weeks because of different activities, different functions. So I need to make sure everybody has balance because there's people that they think that to serve the Lord, they must be present all times. And so this is a problem that pastors have.
Yeah.
Where they think that they need to be there 24/7 at the church. I'm a pastor. I need to be there. They're doing an activity. I have to go. They're doing a prayer. I have to be there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Learn to delegate and learn that your children need you.
That's your first ministry.
Your teenagers need you.
Yeah.
I sit down with my kids and I ask them. My son is vocal, 6 years old. On Saturday, I went to a Brazilian church, an activity in a Brazilian church. And he was going with me because his dad was at a writing seminar. But this is a Saturday we took out to have, because my Saturdays are sacred. That's my family Saturdays.
Yeah.
And so, but that Saturday we took it out for ministry. And my son was like, you didn't tell me we were going to church today. I involve my children in what we're going through.
Yeah.
And so when there's a heavy week, I reward them with next week is family time.
And you communicate that to them.
I didn't have that.
Yeah.
And who's instilling that? My pastors, my parents, who didn't give me that in the beginning. And they're making sure that I don't do the same mistakes. Because there's one thing about having a mentor, and there's another thing having someone who thinks they own you, or that they boss you around, or that they don't impart. My parents, my pastors, and I'm blessed to say that they're different. There's so many pastors that they mentor that can testify on what I'm saying, not just because they're my parents, who they pour out and they give me wisdom. And so, balance. Your teenagers need you. Take them out. They had a rough day. Take them out. Ask them. If you cannot take care of the church 24/7 and not take care of your child. I've had so many pastors' kids who say, oh, my dad, the youth love my dad, and they're always with my dad. But my dad doesn't even sit with me and ask me what's going on in school.
Yeah. Yeah.
These little conversations, your family needs it. Don't talk to me about a church that is okay when you don't give time. You know how many pastors' kids, preachers' kids, PKs, that are out there right now?
Yeah.
Because their parents forgot about them?
Yeah. And I can testify that of like personal experience, right? And I thank God for how he's molded my parents over the years and what he's done with them over the years. But growing up as a pastor's kid, like, my dad used to live and breathe the church, right? And used to live and breathe ministry. And it was hard because he never had a mentor or nobody to tell him, hey, your family is your first ministry. And that caused a lot of problems growing up in church hurt. And, like, I'm still praying for my sisters because they were affected so much by that, where it's like, hey, ¿dónde está papi? Oh, en la iglesia otra vez. Oh, when are we going to have time as a family? When are we going to hang out? And it's hard. And thank God they've grown and they've learned their lessons over the years. But at the beginning, it was really, really rough.
Lack of balance in the church and church ministry pastors, that brings, and I don't even say it, you know what? Maybe you're like, oh, well, because, in the church, there's everything. Maybe there's somebody wild sitting there like, oh, I don't care what my kids think. Well, in the future, you will. Maybe right now your mind is ministry, but in the future, what do we have to deal with? We've never talked about this topic, but I'm sure you had to deal with guilt that your parents have now because of what they caused growing up. I'm pretty sure now, every once in a while, you have to tell your parents, like, it's okay. You didn't know.
Yeah.
Right now, what do we have to deal with? Different ripple effects. Church hurt.
Yeah.
There's different things that come out of balance. Not having that is,
unbalanced.
Unbalance of time. And I know people that don't have kids. They're pastors, but they don't have time together. Ask me how their marriage is.
They don't even talk unless it's about the church at home.
I know. Oh my gosh. I know people that can sit down at a table and marriages that do not have conversation unless it's church.
That's so rough.
My mom has a rule that when I go to her house, nothing about church, just us.
I love that.
When we sit down and we go out to eat, just us.
Yeah.
It's hard. It sounds corny in the beginning, but you will thank me.
Yes.
Mira, go to
Yes.
TikTok, put hashtag
Yes.
church hurt, and you'll see all these preachers, kids talking about it. Balance.
Yeah.
And so that's my thing. No familiarity, balance.
Yes. So the two things that you guys have to learn from this, if you don't learn anything else, which I think that this episode has been such a blessing,
right.
And it's been such a blessing to have you, but learning like that balance and that familiarity, you have to set boundaries as pastors, and as pastors' kids, but as pastors and leaders, like you have to set boundaries. You have to make sure that your family is your first ministry, because how are you going to save the whole world for Jesus when your own household is falling to pieces? So,
and I'm going to say one last thing. When you don't have balance, because you're probably like, where's the spiritual aspect in all of this? When you don't have balance and you have familiarity, that's evidence that you don't have a relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ask yourself, is it passion or is it disorderly passion, what you have for the ministry? Oof. Because when you have a relationship with God, God's going to let you know the needs of your family. Mm-hmm. God's going to let you know, put a boundary with this person.
Yeah.
So when I see that people don't have balance and people have familiarity, the relationship with God is not there. The Spirit testifies. I can sit with you. And discernment in the Spirit will let me know if you have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
But lack of family and familiarity with your members and your leadership is evidence that you don't have a relationship with God.
Wow. Wow.
The physical aspect, the physical, this here on earth, everything will always reflect the spiritual. Mm-hmm. You can tell the condition and the spiritual. And I don't want anybody to be like, no, that's a thin line. It is a thin line, what I'm saying. I'm not saying that your child is not in church, that you don't have a relationship. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that if you're someone focused on only ministry and not your family's hurting, and you have familiarity, you need to check your relationship with God, because it's probably not there.
And check your heart.
Are you praying? Are you having intimacy with the Lord, speaking with Him, but letting Him speak to you? Because there's one thing getting locked in and praying, but not letting Him speak to you.
Yeah.
And so family, balance, and familiarity are evidence of your relationship with Christ.
Yes. Yes. That's so good. That's so good. Whew, guys, I'm telling you, this episode has been amazing. It's been a blessing to my life. Like you spoke to my life. Like God used you to speak to my life in so many aspects.
God is good.
I thank you. I thank you for being here. And I thank you for the life, for your yes. And the life and that you're building with God, your ministry, your family, the yes that you've decided to give the Lord in spite of all the things that you've gone through, in spite of the hurt you've gone through, in spite of all of the crazy things that you've told me.
It's crazy. I would have never thought I'd be in ministry, but here I am.
Here you are, and you are. Eres una columna fuerte para esta generación. So God bless you. May God keep using you. And guys, stay tuned to our next episode. You don't want to miss it. And y'all, Pastora Yeidalys in the house. God bless you, sis.
Love you guys. God bless you.
God bless y'all. Peace.
Thank you for listening to I Am Beloved podcast. I hope you enjoyed yourself and that you are walking one step closer to your healing. See you next time. Adios.